Hello. Welcome to the Captain Spish Dog Behavior Podcast. I'm Kyle Adams, a.k.a. Captain Spish.
And first mate T.Tommy here as always.
And you're listening to the Captain Spish Dog Behavior Podcast. Our podcast is about dog behavior.
Yes.
And Captain Spish and how they relate to each other.
Indeed.
So, speaking of relating to each other,
And
are
coming
your
together.
dogs not getting along?
Oh.
This is a common problem I'm called in for. Dogs that either grew up together or have spent months together and seem to be best friends. And then suddenly, what happened? Sometimes my clients can tell me, oh, well, there was food, or someone stepped on someone's tail, or they were playing too rough, and suddenly someone took offense. And sometimes my clients can pinpoint, yeah, this is where the trust broke down. This is where it seemed to have all started. And then there's times where simply one day, one dog looked at the other and created a threat and went after him. And the other dog wasn't doing anything. Wasn't even near anyone, wasn't in a place of power or possessing of any toy or chew or food, literally minding its own business, sometimes even sleeping. And the other dog will target and attack. So what's that all about?
Why are you asking me? I'm not the dog expert. That's you.
I don't know. I'm looking at you because you probably should have asked that question.
No, well, yeah,
Oh,
more than likely. But I do want to start with a different question first to kind of get into this engageness. What was your first experience with dogs not getting along?
You hear Elle in the background? I think
Oh, yeah.
Trish must be home.
Yeah, probably.
That's going to be a future episode. Separation anxiety. Does my dog love me too much? Probably.
Yeah.
And anyway, your
We'll
question.
probably make a separate one of that for wives and husbands.
Oh boy, yeah. Well,
But yeah, no,
you
I
can
want to
apply
know,
some
like,
of this to your kids.
before the spish, what was like your first experience with that kind of thing going on? I mean, did that happen because we've already addressed about how you've taken care of dogs at a far younger age than most folks probably do. So
yeah.
what was like your first experience with that, and how did you really contend with it, and how has that shaped you now?
I don't know if it's shaped me in any way.
Okay, well,
I don't know if I can remember.
dramatic effect.
I don't know if I remember a first instance of this. It's so pervasive at times. Yeah, I mean, it might be one of my earlier actual paid cases I could remember.
Okay, well,
It just there were two pit bulls. I don't even remember their name, but I can see them in my mind. They got into a fight out of nowhere, and it was a big bloodbath. It often happens when something's unstable or out of balance. This particular case, two things were out of balance enough to make this other dog that had systemic anxiety. There's like a deep built-in anxiety. The dad was away, and the dad was very authoritative and kept them stable through threat,
okay.
which adds to the problem. And those kind of, what do they call them? They're just bad techniques. Subversive, like kind of subversive behavior can cause results that some people may want, like dogs minding themselves or not being aggressive. But all you're doing is you're pushing it down, you're stamping it down, you're building pressure in this dog's mental vessel.
Okay.
And it's not putting it out. It's still releasing it in small bits, that kind of aggression or anxiety or fear. Really, it's a mix of all in other parts of the dog's life. And it just shows like in a passive way. So a lot of people think it's fine, and they don't connect them that there's the same problem.
Okay.
And so when the dad went away for a long work trip and the mom was home, there was no one to subversively suppress the aggression in the one dog. And the other dog also, unbeknownst to the people, had cancer.
Ooh, okay.
And so that adds instability. So if a dog is already feels unsafe in their environment and insecure and has anxiety issues, that kind of weakness, they sometimes want to stamp out like it's a fire. Mm-hmm. They think it'll spread. They don't know what it is. Their instincts say there's something wrong with that dog, and let's get it. Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of its weakness. We're already weak enough.
Right.
So they go after their sibling whom they got along with for months, like 6-7 months. And the woman was there, unfortunately, but she was strong enough to really deal with it. But they really tore each other up a bit, bit the woman a few times. The one dog broke its teeth off in the muscle in the head of the other dog. It was really bad. Yeah, it could be really bad. Dogs are powerful and scary sometimes.
Did they end up being all right after the attack, or?
After a couple months of recovery for the woman and for the dog, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
vet bills galore, and so they called me in, and I was like, one of my first questions to almost any client is, have you checked for medical causes? Like, is there a thyroid imbalance, a liver problem, a heart issue, cancer, lymphoma?
Because if something like this happens, there may be a more underlying cause than just, they just decided one day they didn't like each other.
Yeah, I mean, that's I don't believe I've ever seen that being the case. I mean, that's not how dogs work, and even people don't usually operate that way.
Not usually, but there's a few of us crazy people out there.
Well, that's beyond a behavior issue at that point for people or for animals. Mm-hmm. That would be a brain chemistry issue. So that wouldn't be even them truly deciding, because I don't consider that a free will decision, that your brain chemistry went off enough where you now suddenly don't trust or you don't like someone you otherwise were fine with.
Right.
That's something that's the animal or person is innocent of. You can't help what your brain does. And I've encountered some dogs like that as well, but not usually in these cases. Once again, even with that kind of brain chemical imbalance, it usually isn't the cause of this. So if a dog themselves is sick, they can feel weak, insecure, ill, grouchy, and that can lead to some individuals and some breeds are prone to aggression when they're in pain. Coburn is prone to that. He had bad arthritis for a long time, and I didn't know why he was lunging after our dogs. Even though he's tolerant and loves other dogs and play in the pack all day. And then he'd come home and he would just go into his corner and charge after our other dogs. Yeah.
See, I didn't know that Coburn actually had an issue like that before.
Yeah, that's why I have a bolt through the floor and have him tied to a fairly long leash so he can't hurt himself or others when he's at rest, because he has arthritis and he has pain.
I actually wondered about that, like why you had him in that special corner of his and whatnot.
He's not like that anymore, because finally between pain meds, joint supplements, fish oil, fresh black peppercorn and turmeric, and Adequan injections, he's doing pretty well. And at 11 years old, I'm thrilled that he is as mobile and playful and as young acting as he is with his arthritis issues. Oh my gosh. I don't think Trish is home at all. I think Elle's just totally freaking out.
She might be.
Man, we should have probably done the anxiety episode today. Separation. But anyway.
It's all right. We'll get to that one.
So sometimes if the dog themselves is sick, they can react aggressively. And I think instinctually other dogs know that as well. So even if that dog doesn't have the reaction to be aggressive when they're in that kind of pain, the other dog may think, well, they have every reason to get aggressive, and I'm insecure and weak, so I'm going to be the first one to get taken out. So I'm going to get them first. And so that's how dogs kind of think sometimes. They don't like ticking time bombs. They're not going to wait for something to blow up on its own. They're going to trigger it when they're ready for it, just like the bomb squad would.
I mean, that makes most sense. So going back, the first thing that you asked these folks was, did they know if there was something medically going on?
Yeah, because if it's a medical thing like pain or thyroid problems, you can get medication, treat it, and that eliminates the problem.
Right.
Which, of course, is what everyone wants, is a pill or something to just get rid of an issue, right? Yeah. And there are some rare cases that's all it takes. But the problem really becomes when it's a type of cancer that doesn't show itself readily, like something that doesn't, it's at an early stage where the other dog can detect it. But it's not raising white blood cells enough. It's not throwing off liver ketones. It's not doing other things that can be easily tested for, right?
Okay.
Unless certain cancers, certain illnesses, unless the vet knows what the illness is, they can't test for it to make sure it's that illness.
So they really got to know what they're looking for when it comes to that.
They do, and sometimes you just can't know. You have to start somewhere, so they do it a full blood panel. Like I said, in that full blood panel, if it's not triggering the immune system enough, or if it's not killing the immune system enough where there's not enough white blood cells, there's not a clue of what else to look for at that early stage. So it's early enough where you as a human and your vet aren't as likely to catch it, but the dog can detect it because they're a
okay.
dog. And that's kind of what's happening with the more recent case I'm dealing with. This small dog who's very sweet and very good with dogs started going after this larger dog that's kind of like a tree-walking coonhound, like a big
Oh,
beagle-looking
okay.
guy. And I won't name names because I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. It's unnecessary, but
Right.
the smaller dog seemed to have started out of nowhere. And when I went to for first on the call, I told them both, take them both to the vet, have a full blood panel, ask the vet if they're a good vet. They should know. Well, there's sudden aggression. There's some behavior changes. They're not getting along when they used to, and the vet should think what could cause that in dogs. And some vets are
Yeah.
not very good at that. It's not their expertise, and some vets are
Right.
just not very good at all.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Just like anyone, not even
I'm
professionals
sure
aren't
there's
perfect.
people. I'm sure there's some in our audience who have gone to doctors and it not been a wonderful situation.
Well, especially women. Doctors ignore women. Women say, "I feel this thing," and they're like, "No, you don't. Here's some Advil." And
Yep. Go back to
it's a
birthing now.
systemic problem. But anyway, yeah. So they took him to the vet, and they got a clean bill of health. And so, okay,
Okay.
well, then there's must be something else going on. I think the vet also prescribed trazodone to the smaller dog because suspected maybe anxiety or something else, just something to tranquilize him a little bit.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be
Something that might not be as easy as.
Doesn't seem to be helping well. As far as I know, and I'm not a vet, I'm not giving veterinary advice, but trazodone's not a long-term kind of fix. I've known it to be used more situationally, like, oh, you're going to go to the vet, so we need to give you something to reduce your anxiety.
Right,
Or
yeah.
you're going to go for a car ride, or things like that, where it's as needed. And I always encourage people to talk to your vets about possible medical assistance with anxiety and stuff like that, and I can't do that. I don't do prescriptions. But so I came in there and I told him, well, even though it's only one dog to the other, eventually the other dog's going to go
Yeah,
back because they're going to
'cause
see
they're
no
gonna
other
have
choice.
Gonna have to defend themselves.
So either A, the other dog will see you dealing with it from now on and they'll let down their guard, or B, they'll see you dealing with it and think they can join in. And so watch out for that. Don't let dogs sap your power off. It should be you, between you and that other dog, and the other dog shouldn't join in and steal your power. They should respect your conversation with the other dog. And that's a learning lesson in of itself. Good Lord. This is really bad. And so I worked with them on the consultation. I gave them a lot of pointers about here's how you correct and redirect. Here's how you get them. Because I want them to practice being in the same room as much as possible and go through the cycle
Right.
of them being aggressive towards each other and then stamping it out, and them being aggressive towards each other and stamping it out. And practice rising and falling, and just desensitize them to if the other dog becomes aggressive, and you go through the practice of you dealing with it and them letting it go. And just starting there. And then I took them on pack therapy so they could be together out somewhere where they're a little stressed because there's a bunch of dogs they don't know in a place they don't know, and the only dog they know is the other dog. So it kind of can restart. So literally this last week, I found out at picking the dogs up for consultation, for pack therapy, that the one dog, the tree walking coonhound that the little dog started to go after, has cancer, has a tumor.
Ooh.
It's very early stages. I don't know if it's benign or malignant. I think they're still waiting on tests to come
Did they
back.
say where the cancer is actually located in the body, or is it just?
I don't think they did. I don't usually ask questions about something that's very traumatic. It's
No.
a young dog,
No, I
and it's
understand.
like,
I just figured I didn't know if
But
they
I
might
c-
have mentioned or.
well, I had to kind of wag my finger and be like, I told you so. Like, there's something medical probably is causing this, or someone's targeting the other one. But the thing is, even if we get rid of the cancer, the damage has been done where their relationship has been injured because
Yeah.
the trust has been broken. So we still have to work on, even though we get rid of the original trigger, it's going to help. But we still need to undo the damage. And ultimately, like I told you when we were like, what episode are we going to talk about? What's the subject? And we talked about this subject, and I was like, well, the point will come down to the dogs will get along if they're going to get along.
Right.
We can do and should do everything we can to facilitate helping them see each other differently, see us differently, let us deal with each other, correct, redirect, but they're gonna be the ones that are gonna have to learn the lesson to let go,
Right.
and decide that it's safe. It's safe for them to trust the other dog again. And some dogs don't. Some dogs have so much insecurity that once the trust is broken, it's just never going to be there again.
Right. So have you ran into that kind of situation in your work where you've not been able to bring that dog back from the brink?
Yeah, I mean, it's not me. It's the client has to do that work. I always do all I can, but at the first consultation, I told them, and I tell everyone, well, because they always ask, of course, do you think this can be fixed? Do you think they'll
Right.
ever be like they were again? And I'll say that nothing's impossible. I've definitely seen many times, even and especially seems in the cases I have the least hope for. The people, as long as I tell the people I have hope for them, not like I'm trying to lie to them or anything, but
Right.
I tell
No,
people, like, I believe in you because I do, and you can make this happen.
I mean, you're a very honest person. You don't just go in there, trying to give false hope if there's
No.
none to be had. I mean, you're kind of blunt with the truth, which is not a bad quality, I don't think, but
I don't sugarcoat, and I'm pretty bold about the truth, but at the same time, I'm trying to deliver it in a way that's non-sensational, that is as trauma less as possible. Truth is rough enough as it is, so
Yeah.
I'll deliver truth always with some hope, because hope is always there. If you're willing to try to understand and put the work in and change your lifestyle, because you're the dog's world, and if you change everything, right?
no, it makes total
So
sense.
and so I have to tell them, well, it probably won't get back to the way it was, but it doesn't mean they can't get along at some point.
No, I mean, I think those are all some really good points that you made about it.
And a real thing is that a reality they should plan for and be ready for is, what if they don't get along again? Do we crate and rotate, or do you think that's safe? Does everyone in the house participate in this?
Yeah.
Because if you have someone in the house that isn't fully invested or not all the way there mentally or whatever, like you have a senior citizen with dementia, or kids with autism, or really young kids, or you have to know your situation, and can you make sure that the wrong person doesn't open the wrong gate at the wrong time? Is that feasible? Is that reasonable? Are you okay with using basket muzzles like these folks are to make sure they don't? Because the grandma has been getting bit,
Ooh.
breaking up the fights, and we don't want anyone getting bit, no matter to
No.
what capacity. And I told him, it's like, both dogs need muzzled. I told you that in the consultation. I always tell Trish that if I got paid for how little people listen to me, I'd be a millionaire.
I think both of us would be at that point. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, if I got $400 for every time someone ignored all 2 hours of everything of the time I gave them,
Well, you'd be out of business.
no, I'd be in business big time.
No, you'd be out because you'd be retired by this point with all that
That's
money
true.
you'd be making. Shoot.
Yeah, so I try and make the information I give people to be very digestible. It's repeated a lot. I don't take 2 hours on a consultation because I have 2 hours of stuff to say.
Yeah.
I take
mean,
2 hours in a consultation to foster trust, a relationship, not just between me and the dogs, but between me and the people, and make sure I can get a message I can deliver that's
Absolutely.
digestible. And then I repeat that message over and over in different ways to make sure it sucks up on the people's brains. So anyway.
I don't know. Honestly, 2 hour consultation from you is, I mean, I'd say that's worth its weight in money right there. Just to
I cram a
just to sort
lot of
of-
information in that amount of time, and it goes by quickly.
yeah.
And in fact, some clients I spend almost 3 hours with because I'm BSing with them, and I just don't charge them for that time because I'm just enjoying their company
Well, yeah.
and hopefully giving added assistance, because I have to inspire, educate, uplift, and everything these people in a very short amount of time. So it takes a lot of experience to know
Yeah.
how to do that. But yeah, so those are the situations that have happened, and I've had a lot of success with helping people help their dogs to get along again. Even very severe instances, I can tell stories Very terrible stories.
Have you had quite a lot of these cases? Like, do they make up a lot of the cases that you do, or do they make up a small majority of what you do?
Fortunately, dogs are technically hardwired to get along. If they already got along at one point, they usually continue to do so. So it's not very common. I'd say it's like maybe a tenth of the business,
Okay.
if that. And sometimes, like I tell people, if you didn't raise two dogs with each other, you didn't raise either dog, keep them separate when you're not at home. It's not worth the risk, no matter the size of the breed. Because if you're not there and someone's playing with the other and they get too rough and they bite too hard, if someone jumps up on the couch and doesn't see the other and lands on them, if there's a chew, a toy, food anywhere, food you didn't know was out, toys or chews you didn't know were there because they were hiding under the couch for 5 years and the last dog you had them under there. Believe me, all these things are things I've seen.
Right.
And there's a reason suddenly to compete or fight, and you've never taught them to deal with that, or you've never seen them deal with that, and then you're not home to put out the fire. And I've seen dogs die or be severely injured because of that.
Yeah, no.
So
totally
create them or separate
happen.
them when you're not home if you don't 125,000% know how they're going to deal with each other.
That is a large number, guys.
You have to be certain. Like, and you can be pretty that close to certain about dogs. I know what Coben probably will and won't do. And then I give myself a margin of error because they're still an individual, and Bull Terrier especially, they're bred to surprise you.
Well, I mean, like you said, every dog is its own individual, and just like people, you can't 100% predict how people are going to react to a situation. Just like, I mean, even as a dog behavioralist or whatever, specialist, a dog guy, even as the dog guy here, the expert, I mean, even you got to know that, there's just some that you can't predict and things happen. I mean, you said that at the beginning with the whole biting thing. Sometimes it'll just happen.
Yeah, I mean, you put the same dog in the exact same scenario 20 times, you're probably going to get 25 results. Because every one of us, our brains function off of chemistry, and that chemistry is affected by how recently you've eaten, what you've eaten, what's happened to you earlier in the day, what you think is going to happen later in the day,
right?
What's happened that week in general. All these things influence your little decisions. I know, right?
Yeah, I was cracking a little.
And so all these things influence all of our decisions. They did a study about judges, and they showed that the cases that judges oversaw earlier in the day after like lunch breaks and after breakfast, they were more lenient. They were listened more. They understood the case better, and the people had better outcomes in their cases during that time. But as the day goes on and more hours go past after that judge has eaten, they get more and more grouchy, and they are less lenient. And and it's not because that judge is a jerk. It's because we are all a victim of our chemistry and our brains and how our body is functioning. And dogs are absolutely no different. They may even be more affected by those things, being that they're more instinctual and they're animals. So you have to take that into consideration. My dog usually wouldn't do something like that in the situation, but they were more stressed today. They went to the vet this week. They haven't eaten in a while. They have to potty soon.
Right. I mean, it could just be
and when you're not home
to
to monitor and help with those things and watch what the dog's doing, they may make a decision in a moment that 120 other moments exactly like it have happened before, and they always choose a good outcome. But that day, for that reason, for some particular reason, they make a different decision. And that can sometimes surprise the other dog, because it's not just the one dog, it's how that also affects this other dog. So now all those variables that change this dog's decision are also changing this dog's decision. And this dog's just as surprised as you would be by this dog reacting that way. Now it has to make a snap judgment, and usually it's based on instinct. And instinct says, well, this is 10,000 BC in a cave. The dog might kill you. You better really get them back before they think they can come back and get you further. And then it escalates. And so, yeah, those kind of things can break trust with a dog and cause, and that's actually where maybe most of the dogs don't get along anymore happens.
Okay.
Is situations that the people overly trusted or they took for granted the dog and what they were going through. And this kind of leads into the episode I want to have about my dog can do no wrong, or denial that people have about their dogs. That's something I fight and make sure I don't do with my dog. Coben is heavily trained, highly experienced, good-natured, tough, and capable of handling anything. But I still watch him every second and see what he says and how he's going to behave and how he feels that day and in that moment. And I don't take for granted that he's 1,000 times made the right choice. I'm going to see how he is right now. What is he doing now? How does he feel now? And that is listening to your dog, and that can prevent a lot of problems. A lot of problems by you not just assuming, oh, Coben's going to do what Coben usually does, or my dog's going to do what they usually do.
Right, yeah.
Who are they now? What are they saying now? How do they feel now? And how do these other dogs take them? Sometimes how other dogs are taking your dog and vice versa will give you clues.
I mean, it sounds pretty logical to me. So this case that you dealt with recently, is it still an ongoing one, or have you kind of figured out?
Yeah, they came here recently to board / have a boot camp.
Okay.
I don't usually do board and train kind of stuff, but sometimes it's good to get them to a different environment to reset and help get the long-term exposure to each other in an environment where they have no history and nothing to compete over. So they get to behave like they used to for a while. And sometimes that relieves stress and at least makes the dogs happier. And the goal hopefully also makes it so they get to learn that practice and reconnect a little bit, kind of reconnect that bond. And so when I send them home, they're not going to be fixed magically, but we took a big quantum leap in the right direction.
Excellent.
So I think they did better. They did try to kind of grouch and fight with each other after sitting out in front. After I dropped them off, we were sitting down and I was telling them about what was going on and their food and everything. And the hound dog that has cancer, that originally wasn't reacting, who is more recently reacting, was around their dog food and then looked at the little dog and growled at him, and then it was rah, 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 rah. So there might be a little, there's definitely competition involved too at their own home. So they don't fight with me because there's no food available to fight over.
Right.
Not usually anyway. And they've never possessed me or owned me or used me as a launching point for a fight or attack. And they've done all those things with their moms.
Okay.
Because they don't really live together. The hound goes to stay like daycare with the grandma who owns the little dog. Little Chihuahua type little punk.
Okay.
But
things can be scary sometimes.
He's a good dog. He's a good Chihuahua. He's just scrappy a little bit here and there. I can respect that. Yeah. I mean, think about how brave a little dog has to be to try to start stuff. I mean, you gotta have some respect for that. It's annoying, but that takes some guts.
Right.
So, yeah. Hopefully we'll put a dent in it, and I'm not sure if they're gonna get any better. To be honest, we've tried all we can so far, but I tell the people just keep moving forward.
Right. Well, at the end, that's all you really can do.
Yeah, you just have to keep trying. A lot of times these things are like fevers where they just seem so intense for so long you think it's going to kill the organism. And if you keep the fever down and under control and keep them under control, then it'll break eventually.
Yeah, we can't be having that at all.
So sometimes that's what happens. It's that eventually they suddenly become better one day and everything's better from them.
Now you had said that it's kind of uncommon for you to deal with something like this. Have you ever dealt with a case involving aggression like this and reactivity and it not end well? Like they just have to end up giving up the dog or anything
certainly.
that?
Yeah, I say a third of the cases in that way.
Really?
Yeah.
A third?
Yep. A third of the cases, we do all we can. Usually I don't consider it where the dogs failed, and I won't say my clients failed either. It just, everyone has a limit. Everyone has a limit of peace and energy and how much they can because this is a lifestyle change to really wrestle with these dogs. You have to spend hours a day helping them get over themselves over and over and over again.
You really got to put your devotion.
The
in
dedicated
there.
level is just so high, and some people have things going on in their lives that just they don't have that energy anymore. They're helping their grandma get through cancer. Their husband's dying of cancer. They have a heart problem. They have mobility issues. They have 4 kids. I mean, and the kids are at risk when they're dealing with. They don't have the time and they don't have the energy. And you know what? I can't fault anyone for that. That's life. That's how it is. And
I mean, not all of us can love dogs 24/7 like you do.
Yeah, and I applaud people who even try and who have me come out. They deserve that respect and that honor of me doing everything I can and fighting alongside them, because that's how I see it. We're fighting the dog's instincts for their own benefit, and the dog has to suddenly realize that at some point, and sometimes they don't. And it takes an awful lot of love for you to let someone go that you love and that you want to have in your life, but for their own benefit, you send them somewhere else.
So when you've had those happen and whatnot, does it just come down to you recommending that they remove the dog from the home and either find it a new home or adopt it out, that kind of thing?
We always discuss that as a possible plan B or C.
Okay.
Because that kind of decision takes some planning and some preparation mentally and emotionally. And a lot of people really want to avoid it, but if you're not wasting energy worrying about it because you have a plan for it, but you really don't want to do that plan, you can focus on trying to help him get better.
Okay.
So instead of having this looming specter of what's it like to rehome a dog, or do we even want to do that, and just try to ignore it, and then it's making you worried the whole time, actually thinking, well, what would it be like? What should we do in that case? And who do we go to? And so on. And then we have that all arranged. It's a solid plan B or plan C, and let's just go for trying to get them better. And some people consider that planning to fail, and they don't want to do that. That's fine too. Everyone's brains work differently. My brain works better when I plan out all the possible scenarios that are within reason, or that can be predicted, and that way my brain isn't reeling over it. And some people they don't even want to plan it because they don't want that enter their mind, and that's how they focus knife edge on the solution and whatever they got to do.
I don't see that. Yeah.
I think only once or twice in my career have I recommended somebody get a new home for the dog. And usually that's because the people just aren't the right personality, don't have the personal tools and the stamina and everything else to help that dog. They're not going to be that person. It's just not going to happen. And then I facilitate it, and sometimes I've even taken the dog in. Now, don't call me asking me to take your dog. It's not going to happen. We've done that many times and not doing that anymore. I only do that for dogs I've worked with. So if you call me and have a consultation and we work weeks on it and you have me do some coaching and I get to know the dog gets to know me, I get to know you, we got some time and money invested, maybe I'll consider taking your dog but I'm not going to take some stranger's dog to rehome. I want you to show me a sign that you're dedicated to your animal and that you want to work with it. I need to have the time invested to know that dog and know if it's even adoptable to strangers before I can take that responsibility on.
Well, I think that goes all the way back to the adoption episode that we did and whatnot, where you explained about how you do a whole contract, terms agreement, everything else, just to ensure that this is the right thing to do. And I guess in this case, you said they had to do it. It was just too much for them.
Yeah, people don't realize how much sacrifice that is for me. To take your dog in, it's monumental, but I won't get into that. But yeah, I don't find it ethical. I don't think it's my place or any professional's place, at least in my field, to recommend or discourage euthanasia or rehoming or anything like. To me, if I'm doing my job, you're educated enough and have the tools enough and have the experience enough to know when it's time to do any of those things. You shouldn't need me to tell you to do those things or not to do those things. If I do my job right, you should know enough at that point to where's the cutoff, what's the risks, and is that dog going to live actual life or just be in prison the rest of its life? So Because quality of life of the dog is something to ask about, too, with certain aggression cases.
Yeah. I mean, at the very end, I'm sure you want everything to be resolved. I mean, I think everybody here, even you folks tuning into us,
That's what I'm here for.
would
That's
prefer
the
positive
goal.
endings to this. Mm-hmm. So you discussed about how some of the factors of the reactivity, reacting to one another, sickness, big underlying thing. That's the thing that you said you usually start with.
Mm-hmm. That in of
is
itself has kept
diagnosing.
people from wasting money and time having me come out.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
I've saved dogs' lives by telling, hey, that could be a symptom of blah, 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 blah. Go to a good vet. And if your vet doubts you, go to another one. If you really think that something's going on and your vet doesn't want to test or says they're not worried about it or whatever, if they don't do a test and show you, here's why you shouldn't be worried, and you still are concerned, get another opinion. Mm-hmm. It's not a slight on your doctor. They should understand. My doctor's really good at diagnosis. Most doctors aren't. The diagnosis is a mix of art and science. It's your own experience, your intuition, your knowledge base, and what tickles these little feelers of clues that narrows it down to possibilities that then you could try to test for.
Right.
And how accurately you do that can save a ton of money and time. And sometimes time is the essence. If my mom and dad took their dog, Reese, to a vet that they don't usually go to, because it was, of course, on the weekend, and our vet wasn't open, and this veterinarian thought the dog had kennel cough, and so gave him kennel cough medications and everything else because she was coughing and hacking, horking. And my parents were like, something just seems off. Oh my God.
Wow. I wonder if the folks at home could hear that one.
Jeez.
Between the dog and this.
Sorry, I'm on a state route here, and it's a weekend. So anyway, you get to hear some car noises. I love cars and all, but wow.
Well, I did talk about for season 2 we needed more car chase scenes, more
Yeah, there we
explosions.
go. It's going to happen in the front yard.
And look at that.
Well, our studio used to be in the back of the house, and it has double insulation, so it was quieter. But
so the loudest thing we had to deal with was your garden.
Now we're in the front of the house, right? But anyway, yeah. So but they diagnosed her with kennel cough and then sent her home with some medications. And a day and a half later, she collapsed again. So what happened is she started horking, and Mom thought she was choking on something because she passed out. And my mom gave her CPR and listened to her heart and gave her CPR and brought her back. And that's why I took her to the emergency vet that night. My parents aren't wealthy. They can't afford emergency vets. But if they take a dog to the emergency vet, they're concerned and they're experienced enough. That's where I learned a lot of my base knowledge about dogs to know if they were ill. So, yeah, kennel cough. Sent him home. 24 hours later, collapses again. Really concerned. Take her to our vet. But they weren't able to get her in until, the next day. So 4 days go by. And our vet almost immediately diagnoses her with, a heart issue, congenital heart failure.
So something completely different from what the other vet had
Something
said.
that should have been easily, even I was like, that sounds like congenital heart failure. And I'm not a vet. I don't have I'm not even a vet tech. I mean,
right.
I know vet first aid, and that's it.
Right.
And even I was like, that sounds like heart problems, not kennel cough. But it turns out that heart problem needed to be treated almost immediately with certain types of medications that she could have been on for the rest of her life, and it could have gotten her a couple more years of life.
Right.
But because it was delayed because of a terribly wrong diagnosis by an ignorant vet, she passed away within 2 days after that, because time was of the essence and someone misdiagnosed her and cost her life.
Well, maybe that'll have to be another future episode right there talking about vets. But
one of my clients went in because they got kennel cough, and it was before I knew it was going through the pack. He just started harking. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, this seems like something going on. Probably, I thought it may have been kennel cough, and that's why I brought him home immediately, and I quarantined the rest of the pack. I told him, I'm not picking you up for a couple days until there's no symptoms, which sucks, because that costs me a lot of money.
Oh, I'm sure.
But, it's about the health of the dogs. And so I even suspected kennel cough in that case. The people, though, were really worried because he was hacking and hacking so much he was vomiting and vomiting and vomiting, which can happen with dogs. He's a bulldog type, like a bully dog, kind of like a pit bull bulldog mix, short nose. And so he had a soft palate. So if he got coughing a lot, it's going to irritate the palate. It's going to vomit more. I know that. I know bulldogs. So, but they took him to this vet. I won't say their name because I won't get sued. And they diagnosed him with. They thought he had a was it compaction? They thought he had obstruction in his intestines. So they go in. I don't know if they did any X-rays or anything to confirm, which you should do before you do a $3,000 zipper surgery, where you cut a dog open from their chest to their genitalia.
Wow.
So they did a $3,500 surgery where they did extremely invasive. They cut the whole dog completely open, pulled out all of the intestines, and searched all 3 miles of intestines. And they didn't find an obstruction. And then later find out it's kennel cough. A simple, easy to diagnose thing like kennel cough.
Oh my goodness.
It's testable, by the way. And they do a highly invasive, extremely expensive surgery on this dog.
So like you had said, you know, so the sickness is the first thing. Then the second thing is any other underlying causes that might be, you know, whether it just out of nowhere. Now, is there something that anybody could like maybe pick up on, like maybe sooner? I mean, I know it's really kind of out there on the factors outside of the medical aspect.
If what?
But is there anything that maybe like some precursors that people could see coming to know that something might be going on between my 2 dogs or 4, you know, however many you got?
No.
Everybody has different levels of how much information they're taking in and how sensitive they are to body language. The reason I started doing this as a profession is because I have that hypervigilance where I see micro body language. I see gait changes in dogs, muscle twitches that are different. How long they're looking, where they're looking on the other dog, and the intensity they're looking with, and the ear position, the muscle tension with that, and little hair differences, the piloerection along the body, and all those things can warn me maybe weeks, if not months in advance to a dog being weird with another dog.
Weird quotation.
Weird is what we say when we don't know exactly. Something's different. It's a professional term. So it's just I can't ask people to do the same.
There's when I first started working in this field and working with people and their animals, that's one of the things that frustrated me the most, is that in order to really help this dog in this case, they're going to have to go against everything that's natural in a normal person's behavior. Like, if you don't want to get bit, you're going to have to not care about being bit.
Right.
If you're scared of being bit, you have to not be afraid of being bit so you don't get bit. And it just, how do I ask a client to do that? And, you know, it just, quit caring, stop, don't be scared. Oh, well.
That's a bad owner. That's a very bad owner.
This dog's trying to bite me. Of course, I'm going to be scared.
Right. No, I mean, I get that. I mean, no matter how brave you might think you are, the situation happens and all of a sudden you're like, I'm lost.
Yeah. So, that's kind of where I run into, is that unless I clone myself or live with the people, or I can just occupy their body for a month, there's just anything short of that, I'm going to have to inspire them to get as close to that as possible and give them the tools to have that kind of bravery and that knowledge to know what it's going to do and why, and the timing and everything. So that's the challenge of my business, is the challenge of my life, is how do I educate, inspire, and get people to do the right thing, even if it's sometimes for the wrong reason, and do it the right way, and take the right risks without being foolish also.
Right.
There's a fine, nice edge sometimes dealing with rehabbing dogs, and you have to ultimately, if you really want to help your dog, you're going to have to love them and care about their well-being and their personal safety and their physical safety way more than your own.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that's technically foolish, but that's the cost of love and helping a dog that has a real behavioral issue. And anything short of that's not going to help fast, and sometimes it won't help at all. And that's why good rehabbers are rare and often burn out because you get gun shy when you get bit enough times, because you have to take the risk to get bit, to really help some of these dogs.
I don't know. I don't think your wife would appreciate it, but maybe you should start adding prices for overnight stays while watching dogs and whatnot.
People couldn't afford the grocery bills.
You mean the Chipotle and Raising Cane bills? I mean...
Mostly Chipotle.
Chipotle?
Well, Chipotle, El Toro, Taqueria Mixteca, Taqueria Tres Hermanos. Yeah, those kind of places.
Yeah. So if you think you can afford an overnight stay and you want him to, watch your dog for essentially 24 hours...
Yep.
You know where to start shopping.
It's my hourly plus a $30 a day meal per diem.
30, that would only be one thing from Chipotle.
30, maybe 40.
Okay.
It won't be breakfast. It's just lunch and dinner.
Well, breakfast should be continental. That should be provided.
Breakfast is my coffee and cereal.
That's fair.
I brew my own coffee. I won't drink your coffee.
But do you brew your own cereal?
Well, sometimes.
Oh my.
If it asks me nicely.
Okay, well,
gotta have the right snap, pop, and crackle.
Rice Krispies. That's probably what Kobun sounds like sometimes getting up.
Oh, no. We've been talking about how all the dogs that have passed away in the past few years have given traits to the next dogs. Mm-hmm. So Kobun never used to do this, but now when he shakes off, like when he's itchy and he shakes off, he does little farts, and they sound kind of like Shemp from the Three Stooges. It's like me out his butt. Oh my
God, no, and you did not just say that.
And he never used to do that, but Desmo passed away, and Desmo was a bull terrier I worked with since he was a little puppy, mm-hmm. And he lived to be pretty old. I think 15 or so.
Oh wow!
And he used to always do that every time he shook off me out his butt. And literally the same month he passed away, Kobun started doing that.
I'm going to throw that back around, and I wonder if that could have any effect with the reaction between two dogs, maybe the loss of a sibling.
Oh, true.
Whatnot. Have you ever seen that in any of your cases? Or
that's
had
actually the
that?
number one cause of dogs not getting along is that the family dynamic changed.
Okay.
Either divorce happened. And
dog custody, yeah.
Yep. And whoever's left with the dog has been weakened emotionally and hurt and has self-worth problems and depression and aren't getting the dogs out, and the routine has changed. And so everything that's important, that the human that usually kept everything safe, is now weakened. And so even though dogs don't have a pecking order like dominance theory has, they do have structure. They do have dogs that have different tasks and functions, and people have different tasks and functions in the family unit. And when that drastically changes or completely breaks down, of course that's going to very much stress out your dog. And some dogs that have more anxiety or fear problems may think, oh, well, someone needs to step up and take control, and I'm not the right one to do it. The dog knows it, but no one else is doing it. So now they're forced into this situation in a job that makes them so insecure and scared and a target, but they don't know how to do it. They know no one else is doing it, but something has to do something.
Right.
And so it's just a really bad position for poor dogs to be in. And that can oftentimes cause dogs to distrust or hate, distrust, but have a problem with each other. For a multitude of reasons in that situation. So yeah, that's a good question. I can't believe I forgot about that being impossible to cause.
Well, when we talk about death and farts and Kobun suddenly doing the same thing.
Yeah, it gets the brain juices going.
Yeah. So you said that's probably like the number one. So would that be the number one, and then the medical probably be the number two?
Yes, and sometimes it's one then the other. So the medical problem with the dog is ill, and then they pass away.
Yeah, like
so not only so everyone saw the weakness. Some dogs start fighting over power or over that dog or attacking that dog, and then the dog passes away. The humans are depressed. The structure breaks down, and now even if they were only going after that one dog, now they're going to take that energy and what they were doing with that dog and redirect it to the next one in line.
Now, how often do you see a change in reactivity between, let's say, a human owner and just a single dog, a dog that's not trying to get along with other dogs, but actually just trying to get along with their owner or the family in general? Do you see a lot of that or hear about a lot of that, or is it mainly dog-on-dog reactivity that you're...
So if there's just one dog living in the home, but there's a divorce or a death in the family?
Well, that, or maybe there's just, like you said, a random change that's just kind of compounded, maybe the weakness, like you said.
Yeah, we've seen where dogs with certain anxiety disorders, when they've moved homes, especially if the home gets smaller or it goes more inner city from the peace of a country, and even if they move to a bigger home in the city, but it's in city now, environment has a big impact on dogs' behavior. So yeah, you move from one environment to a drastically different environment that I have seen make a dog either become reactive to family members or reactive to dogs at large when they were fine with dogs out on leash and walking, but now they're having reactivity. It could get pretty intense. And that situation, of course, is made worse when they are living with a dog, and they're definitely going to redirect onto a dog way more quickly than to another human being.
Right, because dogs probably understand each other a lot better than we do.
Well, most dogs see people as another level of strength, and dogs don't usually go after the strongest, they go after the weakest.
Right.
Because it's easier to work your way up. When you start controlling the weaker ones and you have a following, now you have more momentum and mass and probability. Like, hey, see, I'm legit. I have these other individuals in the house. You should submit to us because we're a pack now in here. So yeah, that can sometimes happen.
Okay. So, one other thing that I'm kind of interested about that I want to go ahead and ask you. So, for the people at home, what are...
Thirsty.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's why you got the big one and I got the teensy Captain Spish mug that you could totally get sometime. Oh, yeah. Not that I'm plugging anything right now.
Yeah, we got those for merch, and we have the Captain Spish hat. If you want to be like Captain Spish and have the swag of Captain Spish,
the swag that I left at home,
you can at least have the hat. Yes, exactly. We have them like this, and we used to have some examples here. I gave them to some clients. They have some more over there, but we have a nice steely, like graphite gray front instead of black, and a black, I think, on the white on the back. And they're mesh, and they breathe really nice, and they have the snapback.
Oh yeah, I've worn mine.
They're comfortable. They're
more
rigid.
Than a few times at home.
They're
too.
really well made.
But I also like having it mounted like right next to the computer too.
Yeah,
because it looks really nice.
Yeah, they have a nice bigger logo than my other hats. I actually asked them, they're like, "Does this look good?" I was like, "Make my logo bigger," and they're like, "Oh, we'll see what we can do." And
it's always we can see what we can do. Here's more money. Oh, we can totally.
Well, they didn't charge me more for it. These are lids on demand. They were really good. I bought a dozen and it cost $150.
Nice.
And they made a misprint. That's why I have the graphite and white ones, which was a happy mistake because they sent them to me for free. They're like, "Oh, we did this on accident. Here's free ones." Yep. So I got double the hats for the price, and they're just
that's wholesale for you.
Yeah, so they're amazing. But yeah, so it helps fund me if you want a hat. Just message us and whenever you're watching this and. Email me at captainspish@gmail or yahoo.com, wherever. Get me on Facebook, and we can arrange some delivery. But anyway.
Yeah. So, no, like one of the last things that I wanted to ask you in regards to the reactivity, and what are some things that our listeners and our viewers can do on their own that they might be able to... I know, I get it.
I don't know why.
This is what staying up all night and editing does to people. But like, what are some things or some tips that you can give people to kind of help them navigate this kind of thing? Like, say they don't have the time or the funding necessary to seek out some help for this kind of problem. Is there anything that people can do to help them navigate this and maybe try to get some sense of normalcy?
This kind of situation where dogs aren't getting along and are getting into fights is very serious. You're going to want to contact a professional, someone who does behavior work and only behavior work. I always steer people away from trainers that think they're behaviorists. Some people may be able to do it okay. My experience and my knowledge says that you need a specialist. If someone wants to do come sit stay, they should do that, some obedience. But if you're having a real behavior issue like dogs being reactive and aggressive and fighting each other. For your safety and for their safety, you should contact a professional. There really shouldn't be much like trying stuff on your own. I would advise against that. I would first say keep the dogs separate. Prevent them from hurting each other. Get basket muzzles like the Baskerville Ultra Muzzle. Check it out on Amazon. Certain pet stores have them locally, like Hollywood Feed, and have the Baskerville muzzles. But that way they can pant, they can breathe, they can take treats, they can drink, but they just can't hurt each other. Make sure you follow their instructions and tighten them. Make sure they're on the dogs correctly. I'm probably going to have a little video tutorial I'll post out later about how to get your dog used to a muzzle, how to train them to get to be that it's at least a neutral thing or even a positive thing. Yeah, the muzzle represents treats and affections. Good thing. It's not always when something scary is going to happen.
More positive reinforcement than negative. Yeah.
That's how brains work, and that's how they learn. But yeah, so get muzzles. Make sure they're separated. Crate and rotate until you can have a professional out. Save up money. If you're in the local area, like in the Dayton, Springfield, Columbus, Cincinnati, I'm willing to travel pretty far out there, and I will give you a discounted rate if you really need help. If you don't have the finances, I will help you. Just ask. I know it takes a lot of pride, to swallow, to ask for help. But if you really need help, I'm not going to let money get in the way of me helping you. I need to pay my bills, yes, but that's the only reason why I charge at all. And plus, people don't respect what they don't pay for. But we can work something out, even if it's just gas money, and you need me to help your dogs get along. I'm not going to let your dogs hurt each other and you get hurt just because I'm not going to make a profit on it. That's ridiculous. You can at least we can even do a Zoom meeting, and those are a lot cheaper than in-person consultations. Zoom or what is this thing we use?
We use StreamYard.
StreamYard. Whatever your favorite interpersonal video thing is, I could probably do some work that way.
I mean, they could even probably even Facebook call you.
I've done it before. I do Zoom and Skype and.
Well, Skype's not around anymore.
Yeah,
they got rid of Skype.
Is it gone completely?
Oh yeah, it's gone completely.
And I've done the Apple thing, that their whatever their thing is, and I've done that to Japan, to Germany, Australia, and California, all kinds of things.
I mean, you have a lot of your clients. Testimonials even talk about how much you care about it, and I mean, I'm sure the viewers and listeners can easily tell how much you actually, honestly give a damn.
Hope so. I mean, I do care. I think that's what makes me different than most of my colleagues is that
you're not.
Yes, I love the dog. I love the dogs. Duh. Who doesn't love dogs? Don't trust them if they don't love dogs. But I love the people. I care about you. I care. I got into this and I started this business not because I wanted to help dogs as much as I wanted to give people hope that didn't have it, that loved their dogs like I did but didn't have help and were heartbroken. And I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Bottom
line, he is here to help. Just get a hold of him if you have any questions at all. No question is too little. No question is too big. No question is too stupid. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here.
He's here for proof.
I'm literally here because I like dogs, but I don't understand them, and I don't know half the stuff that
Tommy's here to prove my patience.
Okay. Anyways,
but
that's absolutely true.
Just get in contact with us 937-245-0656. You can text that number. You can call it. You can go on my website. There's a contact page there. My website's really lame. I'm hoping to get that fixed soon. But just tell me your story. Tell me you can't afford it. Tell me what's going on. Now, if I go to your Facebook page and you have Prada bags and Gucci belts and stuff, and you're telling me you can't afford my services, I may have some questions, and I say that only because that has happened.
Oh, I don't doubt. I don't doubt.
I don't ask people for proof of their income. Most of the time, when people are gonna come to me and say they can't afford it, that's tough on people to say.
Yeah.
And I usually trust people what they say. But anyway, I will tell a story about nightmare clients. Probably for our next Halloween episode.
Nightmare clients on Halloween.
Ooh. There haven't been that many, fortunately, but there's enough for a short episode about a few clients, things I've dealt with, and yeah.
Booga, booga, booga. It's like, what, Halloween in, like, May?
Yeah. The only time I can, the only reason why I can keep going and keep pushing through with my life is because of the good people I've met doing this work. And the people that care about me and I care about them. And we see each other for who we really are. And that's kept me going.
Hey, whatever works, man. I mean, I've seen your work firsthand, so
yeah.
We'll have to do maybe we'll have to do a remote sometime with you going out to a client so that some of these folks can see and hear.
I thought about having you help me make a commercial too.
Hey, whatever works.
Pack therapy commercial, consultation commercial.
Oh yeah, with me as editor.
Speaking commercial.
Ooh. I can do it all.
Editor. Anyway. Edit that out. But, but anyway, I think our microphone's still working.
Yeah, still running.
We're double record. Make sure we get the audio.
No, we're triple record. No, we're double recording.
Double this time,
audio, triple the video.
Yes, that's right. But anyway, we're trying out new camera angles, so keep it a little more interesting, so it's not just a wide shot all the time.
Yeah,
we have a lot of things changing.
And honestly, even for me, this format's a lot better than when I was at home and had to, we had to stream together and do it like that. So
this costs more and takes more time, but it's well worth it.
It's worth it, and it's worth it for you guys too. So
yeah, and I'll be coming out with probably little videos of just me talking straight to you about little short subjects, little tips and tricks and things about dog behavior. Once again, just trying to help uplift and encourage you, let you know you can do it. You can learn these things. I'm not special. I'm not any more smart or sensitive than most people, and we can learn from each other.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the point of the Captain Spish community, is that we learn from each other. I've learned about as much from my clients probably as they have from me, and they teach me to be creative and to be persistent, and sometimes new techniques. Sometimes my clients like, hey, I tried this way, and I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
Right.
So and then I have something to teach them in the next time. I hope to constantly improve, even though I've been in this field as a business now for 16 years, and been working with dogs for 32 years, semi-professionally. So but still constantly learning. I always feel like I was when I was an 8-year-old boy. Sometimes I feel like I didn't learn anything, and I'm learning something all over again, and that's kind of what the podcast helps me with too.
Right. What he's trying to say is he's an old dog that can still learn new tricks. Hey!
Yeah,
that was
people have actually literally asked me that question.
Oh, I'm sure.
Hey, my dog's 10. Do you think they can learn? Well, if they're still breathing and they're not senile, probably.
Now, for your grandparents, probably not. Give them an iPad and let's see what happens.
Yeah, humans base more of their choices on emotion than even dogs seem to.
Right.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode too.
Oh, it could be a lot of episodes.
Sometimes that is an episode. But yeah, so basically that. Get in contact with us if you need help. Make sure you get professional assistance in your area. If you have a dog that's bitten people or bitten other dogs and you're having troubles finding a behavioralist or a professional to help you with that dog because of the bite history, I will travel nationwide to help. The way the airplanes and things are going right now, I'll probably have to drive to you. We'll see. Yeah. And sometimes I have to drive just because I need Coboon. Sometimes I just need a dog there to help.
Right.
And I don't want to make him fly. I might, unless you want to pay for a first class ticket for Coboon to sit by me, but
yeah, probably not.
He'd be great.
I'm not doubting him. I'm just saying
he'd be asleep the whole time.
That's fair.
Or barking for treats from the stewardess.
Where's my peanuts?
Yeah.
Where's my peanuts?
Row, give me my treats. You're in uniform. There must be an aisle somewhere here. This must be Rule King. Give me my treats. But yeah. So anyway, do you have any questions? Or
nah, man. I mean, that was the last one that I really wanted to ask, is if there was anything for other folks that they could possibly do. So
you want to do?
I think we did a pretty good coverage of dog reactivity.
Let's see what time we got. Yeah. Do you want to do like a 20-minute bonus episode? What do you want to talk about?
I think we should probably close this one out first.
That's what I'm saying, but we should tell people on here what the Patreon episode we'll have. So maybe they'll be interested in paying me to see us bullshit each other.
I mean, what could be more fun than watching us bullshit each other for 20 minutes?
I don't know.
I don't know.
A whole lot of things, but not that many.
Dog behavior, uncut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's a good one. All right, man. You asked me, I answered.
I mean, like, is there a movie you want to talk about? Is there something happening to you this week?
Not yet.
You reading any interesting books?
No. I'm dealing with 3 children, housework, and everything else. I ain't got time to read. I ain't even had, I barely got time to edit, so... No, there is a movie that I want to do, but I've got to wait till I can actually watch it, but I want to save it for a future episode. So, teaser.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, this has been the Captain Spish Dog Behavior Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed this and it was informative. We'll see you next time. I'm Captain Spish. Dog bless.
Adios.
Tommy.
Thank you.